Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Brown's Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski, but you can call me Grizzer. A lot of people do, and this is where we get you caught up on some of the latest news and tidbits that are tied to our favorite team in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns. That the elf on the wall is back. You could see we're back in the Browns' latest studio. Thank you. I'm glad. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed our week with the doors again, the Shedeurs. Man, I'll tell you, we had some technical things going last week. So the lighting was horrible, like where we were. It was just brutal. But I appreciate you bearing with us, and hopefully you enjoyed the segment with Tobin. He had a lot of fun. It was great. I was so glad to get him on the podcast so you could all see him as well. And I also would like to thank everybody who has liked our previous episodes, who has subscribed to the channel. We're like 100 away from 12,000. Like, we got it. Once we get to 12,000, the 12 jersey comes on. But I thank everyone who has subscribed already, and then all of you who get your comments down there in the viewer comment section. Now, coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about what cannot happen against the Bills on Sunday. The most ridiculous take I heard about Shedeur Sanders this week. The prediction pen is here. Of course, it's Saturday. Of course, the prediction pen is here, ready to do its thing. And of course, we do every set. We always give it the warm-up question. And it's the same warm-up question that we give it every single Saturday. And that question is, prediction pen, will this be a good show? Dude, no way. Okay, so there you go. Apparently he thinks the prediction pen thinks I'm still on vacation or something. So, and then down in the viewer comments, Bill Belichick for head coach? I'm going to find out about that, see what's going on. But first things first, before we talk about Bill Belichick, we have to talk about the Buffalo Bills, who will be here tomorrow. And there are a couple of things, actually a few things, that just can't happen tomorrow that we saw last week. And let's start here. The lack of discipline that we saw out of the Browns last week was it was pitiful. They're wearing my second favorite uniform combination tomorrow, so that's good. The orange helmets with the brown jerseys, white pants. So that should help them focus a little bit. But, oh my gosh, we were humiliated by having 12 men on the field, the very first offensive play. How does that even happen? And then you have a delay of game penalty on the first play of the second drive because the whole play card thing, the wrist bit, thing. This is all on Kevin Stefanski. And so the other thing that we have got to stop with Stefanski is the scripted offense. It's always this meticulously planned sequence of plays that he has. He goes by the script, and after the script, everything falls apart because he doesn't know what else to do. There's nothing going for him. And then our offensive success rate. The only way to go is up compared to last week. Our offensive success rate was 8% through the first three quarters of that game against the Bears last week. In football, the success rate is the heartbeat of your offense. It measures whether a play keeps the team on schedule and moves the chains. And 8% doesn't get it done. Because when an offense is forced to operate behind the sticks on nearly every set of downs, the playbook shrinks, man. And the pass rush is going to tee off. You are not doing your quarterback any favors. And so we have got to, Kevin Stefanski, although watching that press conference yesterday, again, I just don't see any life left in him. I feel as he is a dead man walking. We talked about it last week before the Bears game. But they're asking him again about all the injuries. We got Conklin's out again. I don't understand. The Conklin thing, that is as sketchy as it gets, man. I just don't understand this guy, man. He just never plays. And then now it's a concussion for 2 weeks. He needs a lineman. Doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make sense to me because I did the story about the study that said the safest spot on a football field for anybody is offensive line when it comes to concussions. But somehow, this guy, what a waste of money he was. What a complete waste. Ward's out again. But, we got all these injuries. They're asking him, like, we'll know more in the next 48 hours. We'll know more in I don't know. We'll find out. Like, just so, like he doesn't care. So I don't know, man. We can only hope it's going to be better, but it has to change, man. You got to set your QB up to win, please. Please. Speaking of our quarterback, I heard what I think is the most ridiculous take of the week on Shedeur Sanders. And unfortunately, I hate to do this to her, but I'm going to have to agree to disagree with Mary Kay Cabot from Cleveland.com. Mary Kay is on the normal podcast they do every, it's sort of daily. We're daily. We're here every single day, 7 days a week. So we're a daily podcast. That's a random podcast. It's some days, not all days. But listen to what Mary Kay said. She said Shedeur Sanders is down to his last 3 chances. Just 3 more chances to prove to the Cleveland Browns that they don't need to go out and draft themselves a first-round quarterback in April. Now, why do I say this is ridiculous? Because it's ridiculous. Why would he have these last 3 games just to prove himself? So, okay, let's start here. Let's start with everything he's been up against. A coach who is not interested in him. The coach gave everything to Gabriel. Gave him all the reps, invested everything into him. Was locked in for him. Gave him all the prep time. Talking about Dylan Gabriel and Stefanski. Gave him every opportunity to keep improving. Was locked into his development, and it completely failed. And so his guy fails, and now he's half-heartedly given the job to Shedeur. Almost forcibly. It had to be forced. He was forced on. This job was forced on. This Shedeur by Andrew Berry. And Jimmy Haslam. Haslam's in Shedeur's corner. He's the one who told Berry, go get him. But here's the other thing. Even if you did draft somebody next year, let's say you do. Let's say they waste another pick on a quarterback in the first round. What are you going to do? You're telling me Shedeur wouldn't be more prepared to start the season than the rookie? Especially if we get a coach in here that believes in Shedeur, not what we have right now, a dead man walking who has no interest in making sure that Shedeur has everything he needs. Like, give me a break. This has been in no way, shape, or form a fair assessment of Shedeur Sanders. Dylan Gabriel, 100%, because coach gave him everything. Everything he could possibly give him, and the guy got worse every single week. Oh, yeah, by the way, you should have never taken him in the 3rd round. I wish I had a nickel for every time I've said that. I'd be a rich man. But there is no... There's nothing fair about what's been going on since Shedeur has taken over. Not one single bit of it has been fair. And hopefully the coach that we get to replace Stefanski sees all that and says, we got our quarterback. Let me show you how this can work, Kevin. I know you're an offensive genius and all, but let me show you how this is going to go. So, like Mary Kay, I'm sorry, but I have to agree to just disagree with that. If a coach, the next coach that comes in here knows anything about football, they're going to know that they can throw out pretty much these 7 games that Shedeur's, because everything he's been up against. A coach who punched him to 29, a coach who instead of takes his best players off the field when you in the most critical situations, a coach who runs a tight end rookie quarterback sneaks on 4th and 1. Like what are we doing? The coach who hides the the wristband. I mean, come on, man. Give me a break. Sorry, Mary Kay, but that was the most ridiculous take I've heard on Shedeur this week. Unbelievable. Now, you might think the prediction pen is ridiculous too, but prediction pen seems to get a lot of these questions. I mean, the answers to these questions seems to get them right a lot. Now, since we're talking about our fearless leader, Kevin Stefanski, and whether or not he will have our team ready to play against the Buffalo Bills, let's make that our first question for the prediction pen. All right, prediction pen. Will Kevin Stefanski have the Browns ready to play against the almighty Bills? Ooh, ask again. It's unclear. All right. That's we'll see. Let's see. Will Kevin Stefanski have the Browns ready to play against the Bills? Unclear again. This might be our first double unclear of the season. Prediction pen struggling with this one. All right, prediction pen. Maybe the third time will be the charm. Will Kevin Stefanski have the Browns ready to play against the Bills? Dude, no way. Even the prediction pen knows. Dead man walking. 100%. All right. All right, now here, this is going to be big because the Buffalo, they got a good running back, James Cook. And our rush defense has not been good the last couple of weeks. So we're going to have to slow down James Cook along with Josh Allen. But the prediction pen, the question is, will the Browns defense keep James Cook from going over 100 yards rushing? If you're lucky. That's a fair answer. Because if we're lucky, we can keep him under 100 yards. Good chance we're going to win, right? All right. This is everybody. That's what everybody's talking about. Everybody's talking about Myles Garrett and whether or not he's going to get the sack record. Prediction pen will tell us. Prediction pen will know. All right. Prediction pen. Will Myles Garrett set the single season sack record against the Bills on Sunday? Dude, no way. Are you telling me they're going to keep Josh Allen clean? They're going to keep Myles Garrett off of him? Do you know, prediction pen, that in addition to leading the league in sacks, Myles Garrett is number one among all edge rushers with a 27% pass rush win rate? That's according to Pro Football Focus. Prediction pen. Are you sure about this one? Wow. No sack for Myles Garrett, according to the prediction pen. All right, now, we talked about James Cook. We got a good running back ourselves, and they have a terrible run defense. They give up 143 yards rushing a game. Trayvon Henderson just gashed them for 148 and 2 touchdowns last week. Against, when New England they had a big lead on them, and they blew it last week. But Quinshon Judkins is our guy, so prediction pen. Will Quinshon Judkins rush for over 100 yards against this porous Bills run defense? Without a doubt. Whoo! Is that a bet? Bet Quinshon for over 100. I think I'm going to have to take that one. Thank you, prediction pen. Okay, here's another good one. That's good because you know what? We might have to go. It has to be a shootout if we're going to stay in this, right? So we got to know. Will Shedeur Sanders throw for multiple touchdowns against the Bills? Not for $1 million. Okay. Well, if Quinshon's running all over him, then Shedeur only needs to throw 1 touchdown, right? All right, there we go. All right, now the question everybody's been waiting for. Here it is. Get your pen and pencil out. Here we go. Ready to go. Here we go. Will the Browns beat the Buffalo Bills at Huntington Bank Field on the shores of beautiful Lake Erie on Sunday? Without a doubt. The prediction pen. Go big or go home. Prediction pen says we are beating the Bills on the lakefront. Let's go. I might have to bet that. Prediction pen usually gets the game right. I think it's only missed like twice all year. So, man, prediction pen. Remember, the Bills have not won. They won last week on the road against New England. They have not won 2 consecutive road games all season long. Last time they were here, they lost. They don't play well here, man. Prediction pen. All right. I'm betting the Brownies. Now, another thing that I always bet on, I mean, come on, you guys know. You guys know. It's the viewer comments. And today we'll start with Keith Greer, 462, who says, remember I said it could be a shootout, right, with Shedeur? Kevin Stefanski, this is what Keith Greer says. Kevin Stefanski plus offense equals no shootout. So if it's Kevin Stefanski's offense, there's no such thing as a shootout. Well, Keith, I hate to admit it, but so far this season, that is true. Timothy West, 1183, says, there is no hope as long as his coaching staff is here. None. Well, Timothy, now the big rumor is Belichick. Belichick's on the short list. Apparently Atlanta, New York, and Cleveland are the teams that have interest in bringing Belichick back. He'd have to pay North Carolina only $1 million. I say only, but I mean, for him, that's chump change. But that's what it'll take to get him out of that North Carolina contract. And here's the thing. He's only 15 wins away from Shula's record. So he would like to get that. And I started thinking about this. Because I've been saying, I'm like, Belichick's too old. I don't want him to come back. But I would say this. It would be interesting, and he probably would be laser focused to get that record, right? He'd want to pass Shula. And so how ironic would it be where he comes full circle, right? Where he started his career in the NFL as a head coach, and he comes full circle in Cleveland, comes here, sets the record. Who knows? Maybe they go undefeated. Belichick gets in here, we go 16-0. He gets the record, and he can go out on top, provide stability to the organization. Who knows? I don't know. Stranger things have happened. But that was back in 1991. He was our coach, and then he was the Browns head coach until 1995 when the team moved to Baltimore. He has one playoff win as the Browns head coach, but he was most remembered for what he did to Bernie Kosar. He's the one who got rid of Bernie. And diminishing skills. Those are like swear words in Cleveland. If you say diminishing skills, because that's what he said. He said Bernie Kosar had diminishing skills. And then Bernie went on to win a Super Bowl with Dallas. So, but that's why Belichick was never liked in Cleveland, because he got rid of Bernie, man. People were not happy about that. So Belichick is like right up there with Modell. But how ironic would that be if he did come back to Cleveland next year and then break the Shula's win record with the team where it all started? Be interesting. The NFL loves storylines, and that would be a heck of a storyline. Nuts and Chocolates, 56. Shedeur is the key to heaven's door, taking the Browns to the playoffs. Yeah, and that's what that's what Tobin was talking about with they're not gonna, and I mean, the 42 thing with the whole the guide to the galaxy, that book or movie, whatever. Like, I don't know, man. There's some signs there. There are some signs. Nuts and chocolate. I'm with you. Ronald E. McKnight. Shedeur's biggest problem is the line. Will he have time to throw? Can they run the ball? 100%. I mean, these guys are fighting for jobs. I thought they would come out and play last, but they were not prepared. It all comes down to can Stefanski have them ready to play? After watching the press conference yesterday, I don't have a lot of faith in that. So these guys are going to play for themselves, because Stefanski looks like he checked out 2 weeks ago. So you're right. That is the biggest problem right now. These guys, trying to keep these guys from quitting. Guards fan 01 says, Guards fan, go Guards. I personally don't think our offense has enough resources to play football. Scheme options are not open when your O-line can't block either way. One draft won't fix this. We will call for AB's head when crap goes downhill again next year. Well, here's the thing. If AB can do to the offensive line after this upcoming draft, like what he did with the defensive line this year, I mean, it's possible. He could turn it around, I still think they got Dee Podesta out of the way, and AB said, hold my beer. Let me show you what a football guy does in the draft. I think DePodesta might have been the one who screwed up all these drafts, and they finally had enough of it and said, "Get out of here, go back to baseball." So it'll be very telling to see what happens with this draft coming up in 2026. Guards fan 01, but great take, I appreciate it. And we'll end today with Steven Roscoe, 9877, who said, "Grizzer, you need to tell your son, Tobin, you need to tell Tobin that Knocking on Heaven's Door is a Bob Dylan song, not a Guns N' Roses song." Well, it is a Guns N' Roses song, because I know the Guns N' Roses version. Tobin knew the Guns N' Roses version. But I will let him know that it's a Bob Dylan song. I appreciate it. A couple people chimed in, said, yeah, it is Bob, it's a Bob Dylan song too. But, Tobin knows the Guns N' Roses version. I'll tell you one thing about Tobin. Like, all of the... because, he's been doing shows and plays and musicals since he was, like, in 5th grade, I think. And then all the different music classes he took. He was a music minor at Ashland. And, like, I've always been impressed with the amount of music knowledge and the exposure of music that he's been to. Like, you listen to his playlist, you would think it was mine. Like, his scope of music and what he listens to and what he knows, and like, it's crazy, man. Like, I'm glad. I'm glad he's been exposed to so much different music, and he understands. He knows more than me, man. Like, I don't know, So it's Noah's the one who he's more like he keeps me up to date with like like Boogie with a Hoodie and Travis Scott and all those guys, and Kid Laroi and all these the newer type artists that are out there, Lil Baby and all those guys. I love all that stuff. Like, when Noah and I would go golfing, in the car, I love it. What's Boogie got going? I love Boogie with a Hoodie. A lot of fun. Different. I love all kinds of music. That's what it is. All right, we're back. See, we're back. We're back in the friendly confines of the Browns' latest studio. But it was fun to see Toby and get Toby on the show down there in Florida, where it was 82 or 83 when we left, and we landed in Cleveland. It was 19 degrees. We flew right over Cleveland Browns Stadium. The field's not even covered. It's snow all over the field, and there's no cover on the field. I thought that was strange. I thought the field should have been covered. We flew right over it. I could see we're done. You could see the end zones covered in snow, but you could see the Browns showing through the snow. I don't know, whatever. Even the ground crew maybe have given up, like Stefanski. Does Stefanski pay the ground crew? Unbelievable. All right, we'll be here early tomorrow for the bowl predictions and our keys to victory. And then, of course, after the game, we'll do our instant reaction video as well. But, all right, we're back in the studio. Thank you so much for bearing with all of the bad lighting and the technical difficulties we had down there in Florida. All right, go Browns. We'll see you next time.